Hey everybody, it's John, Lake Erie Chestnuts. We're going to have a little bit of fun on the farm today. It's unseasonably warm, and then it's going to go back to more seasonable temperatures over the next few days. We had snow 2 evenings ago. It was about an inch or two out here. Everything was white, and now it's all melted, and the pond is actually completely melted. The one we were just skating on a couple weeks ago. I'm going to get out here, do a little shed hunting, just kind of play on the farm. Come along. Well, I just been going through this smashed down field, picking some rocks. You can see where some of these rocks were to build up for riprap and for overflow to reduce erosion of the pond bank. And I'll be picking those up in the tractor bucket once I get some big piles. Just messing around doing that. Flipped over this rock right here. Look what we have right next to it. Tiny little antler. It's a spike, he's a giant. So I found that one. 1 for me, 0 for Izzy. She's usually the one finding these. Come here, Iz. Come here. What do you think of this? Yeah. You need to go find more of those. Never know what you're gonna find in the woods. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to identify skulls. Seems a little big to be a squirrel. Options are groundhog. I'm gonna say groundhog, but could be porcupine. Found here in this stretch of woods. It's kind of open woods here. Move along, look for some more sheds. Always like coming up on trees and see how they're growing. It says 2 black cherries next to each other, but this one is a straight one. Nice and straight. Maybe 50 foot before the first branch. It's got a maple next to it, and then this little curvy cherry, but this cherry's, well, at breast height, close to 16 inches, starting to approach a saw log. I like seeing that. Not a lot of them grow straight. Love the bark on these things. Pennsylvania black cherry, one of the coolest looking trees. This is another cherry tree, but this is more what they typically look like. Lots of branches, very curvy, but it's competing with a tree that's pretty good. This is a red oak, pretty straight, maybe 16, 18 inches. So this tree is only about 10 foot away. It may outgrow and give 1 log as it grows up, but it's nursery tree, because if you see this tree, this cherry tree is keeping this red oak from growing any branches on that side, keeping it growing straight. Now it's got a couple branches off to the other side, but I'm going to let that cherry tree stay and see if it can work itself into something of value. This will show a prior hack and squirt. We performed this maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You can see where I hacked and then squirted with glyphosate. And then the tree just died over the top. They've all fallen. This was to open up an area in the woods and to select for cherry trees and maple trees. And maybe get a little more sun to the floor, open this up just a little bit. It looks like I may need to open a couple more. But a beautiful oak tree right there. It's got a couple side branches, but overall good shape. And a little bit of timber stand improvement. Hack and squirt what it looks like a few years later. We're in an area I call Beech Grove. A lot of beech trees here, all 16, 18 inches, and then tons of other small ones. Again, they're being a nurse to this maple tree here. But I'm allowing these to survive here because I have read that they do provide a good food source for different species. I'm not an expert on them, but turkeys, it's definitely a size that they can peck at the burr and get the seed out. So anyway, this is Beech Grove. Alright folks, if you live in Northwest PA, it's probably not that hard, but bonus points if you get the answer. What did this damage to this bark? Let me know in the comments. Right after the black cherry, this is what I think is one of the coolest trees out there. I used to just call it a curly bark tree, but it's a yellow birch, I believe. Very cool looking tree, very tall tree. They run in groups in wetter areas, although these are kind of up on the edge of a stream. That tree's about 16 inches in diameter. I'm down in a seasonal drainage here, just a touch of water right down there this time of year. And up on a couple more of these yellow birch, just showing that they like the creek, the wet riparian borders, I guess you might call that. I don't know if that's the right term. 3 of them. These are both 18, 20 inches, and the one in the rear back here is probably 12 inches. All right, we're gonna keep on moving. This is one of the cooler areas of the property. It's a little hemlock grove. Nothing compared to the redwoods out west, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. Some trees that are a couple foot in diameter, you know, getting up 80, 90 foot tall. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it just feels like a fairy forest here, you know, almost just nothing on the forest floor and just real soft and spongy feeling. Little pieces of hemlock needles and hemlock acorns, or hemlock cones. They're very tiny. Just a beautiful little area here. Love, 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 love coming back here. This is looking up one of the 2 foot plus trees. And just to give you a little idea of size, I'm gonna bring it around so you can see my fingers. I can't see the camera anymore. So a pretty good sized tree. Love it. This is the English white oak. I believe it's completed its 8th year. Had a setback for a couple years because of gypsy moth caterpillars, but that seems to be going on the wayside. Maybe 2.5, 3 inches diameter, but nice sturdy tree. Can't wait to see what she does in the next couple years. Swinging through the orchard, just the tip of it, as I go to look for additional sheds. We've only found the one about 20 minutes after we got started. Here's one of our grafted trees. And it's about 5.5 foot tall. Let's see what this one is. Zago grafted. Let's see what she does this year. This one struggling a little more. This one is Luval's Monster. Not surprised by that because our Luval's Monster seedlings, some did really well, a few of them, but most hated it here and gave up the ghost. But we're going to dip down on the east side of the orchard. Should have a decent view of the orchard behind me. Chestnuts as far as the eye can see. Well, found a shed in a spot I've never found it, but I always felt like was likely. Some honey locust with, that is a squirrel nest. Very heavy briars. And right there is an antler. Now I don't know if it's this year's or last year's. It's pretty white from here, but let's go pick her up. That's 2 for me. And 0 for Iz. This is a little 4. Pretty exciting. Hard to say if it is this year's. Fell a long time ago now. That was down in the dirt. We've had some heavy snow. Another example of hack and squirt as recommended by my state forester. This was the cherry tree that we selected. It was too close, and so he recommended I hack and squirt this, which I did 4 or 5 years ago, and it is starting to crumble slowly. And then we got the one next to it that's also growing up to be a good cherry. Still a little curve in it, but we selected out this curvy, really bad one, and then this one, which was too close and was the inferior tree. Well, there's the haul for the day. 2 sheds for my walk in the woods. We're here by the trees that I got started. Be interesting. They look like they're still alive. We'll just see how they do. I won't sell these this year, but they will get removed from here and potted up. At least they won't be sold as bare root seedlings because I don't know if the roots froze or not being elevated like that. And my final thing of the day is I had to remove the mower deck. We got a piece broke off. Gonna have to get that welded back. So thanks for following with me today. Hope you enjoyed the walk in the woods. We'll be getting stuff planted here real soon. Take care.